Hi, Scott.
Hi, Tina. We're back.
We're back.
What are we doing today, Tina?
We are doing LinkedIn.
We're doing LinkedIn. Okay. Let's see. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. IT seminar, LinkedIn, portfolio assignment.
This is my favorite assignment.
Really? Why is that?
No, it's not my favorite assignment.
Oh,
I mean, I like it. Student-wise, it is the assignment that more people have skipped and taken a letter grade doc than any other. I would say the one thing in the class that almost no one does, mock interview. Mm-hmm. Everybody who has done the mock interview says far and away it was the best thing they ever did.
Right.
They were super glad. They didn't want to do it, but after the fact were super happy that they did it, and it was exceptionally useful. This falls in the number 2 slot.
yes.
That it was a gigantic pain, but this will come up later. The problem everyone has, you don't do anything, and then I have to apply for this job. There's such a volume of things that you really ought to do that you only end up doing 10% of. You do the bare minimum. This forces you now to do the whole thing.
Yes.
And to get feedback on it, so it's tweaked, and so that everyone who has done that said, yeah, when I went to apply, all I did was put in my LinkedIn, and I already had everything because I had to gather them for LinkedIn. So a huge thing. Again, it's the thing that people dread, but this is an excuse to get it done when you're probably not gonna do it otherwise, and then you have that excuse, well, I didn't have enough time to finish my LinkedIn. Yeah.
And on top of that, employers are looking for you online.
Yes.
So
Yes, we will creep you.
oh, absolutely. Even the employment lawyers now understand that. The first year of our, we have an annual do not get sued meeting that all the supervisors have to attend. And there was a year when the lawyer said, do not look people up online. Don't do it. And we all kind of looked at each other and were like, okay. And the next year when he came back, he was like, so when you look people up online, here's how you should do it. Because in 1 year's time, like even the employment lawyers were like, okay, so this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to look you
It's
up online.
In a way, it's like checking references.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking to see what you've got, and if you've got good stuff, and I can tell you from our experience going through interviews and whatnot, when you have resources available that are beyond just resume, that is a godsend. When
Yes.
I can look through your stuff before I interview you, I have a much better sense of who you are as a technician or whatever else, and that's what the artifacts are going to be, which
We'll talk about.
we will talk about. But having those out there, at first it seems like, why do I have to do this? But when you have to imagine yourself, and that's part of going through the book, imagine yourself on the other side of the table. This is a person that I'm going to be stuck with for 20 or 30 years, and I'm going to look over a letter they sent me, and I'm going to talk to them for 30 minutes maybe, and then I'm kind of like married to them. And I mean, I need to get as much information as I can to help out. And when I can do that ahead of time, now I can spend the interview time doing different things, slightly different things that I might, I don't have to ask you about, do you know how to do these things? Because I've already seen you demonstrate that. So it eases the hiring someone is just awkward. It's a terrible thing. And we've been going through it for, I don't know, I've been on. How many? Are you on every hiring committee? You're not.
Not every. No, for a while I was.
I think I've been on every one for the last 5 years.
But
because
a lot.
because of seminar class, because I wanted to see those things. But
yes.
I would say, I'm sure you've been on more than I have. I've probably been on 20 or so. And 4 or 5 of them in our area that I'm really kind of responsible for, and that really, when it's not going to impact me if we choose someone who's not good, that's not really my fault.
Right.
But when it's somebody who's going to be in the office next door, you want to make sure that you get a good candidate. So anyway, all of this, even though it's a pain, there's a purpose. And the people who've gone through that then turned around at the end of that journey and said, God, I'm glad I ended up here, because it makes everything after that easier.
Yes. And even moving forward, all of this information is already out there. So if something happens to your resume and you lose it, your dates and all of your information are still there, and you can recreate that a little way easier, actually, than...
And we've had people that say, I'm in a job now and I'm never going to change. Why do I have to do this? And I'm like, well, you don't. I guess you could skip it, but you probably should. And then 6 months later they come back and say, hey, I just changed jobs. I posted on LinkedIn and somebody found me, and now I doubled my salary. And you're like, you're welcome.
So there's those cases, and then there's things like COVID hits and the entire world turns upside down. You thought you weren't ever leaving a job.
Yeah.
And
right.
You don't know that. So be prepared. You just never know what might happen.
And long ago we had people that didn't want anything online, like which post it, get the point, you pull it down, I guess. I mean, that was like 5 years ago. I don't think that works today. I mean, I think you have to, and this is way better than, you don't want to have Facebook, you don't want to do anything else, that's fine. This is your professional.
Exactly. Which
is different than anything else. I mean, this is, I want to contact you or connect with you or whatever. It's not, I don't consider this social media. I mean, technically it is, but it's not in the same way, because I'm putting my bit. This is like,
your professional networking tool.
This is like your interview online in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That recruiter, and you can hide stuff, right?
Oh, I mean, you can.
I mean, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But we have had people that have been contacted and recruited through this.
Absolutely.
Who weren't actively looking because they didn't, I don't want to, and then like, oh, I could do, ooh. Yep. I didn't know that was a thing.
Exactly.
Until they called me or emailed me and said it was a thing. So.
And they found you simply because they did a query.
Yeah.
In LinkedIn.
So you can use it. It's just an assignment you have to do. You can look at it that way, or you can say you're investing really in your future self, and your future self will thank your present self.
Do something today.
Yeah.
Your future self will be happy with. It's
but
true.
I'm trying to convince everybody who watches this video not to skip this assignment, because it is. I have had 20 people in class and 10 of them skip this assignment, because it was just too much trouble, and I'm okay with a B, which I thought lowering your grade by a full letter grade because you skipped an assignment would be reason enough to not skip it. But
right.
I was wrong.
Not everybody thinks like that.
Yeah. But just know that it's worth it. This is one that, and basically in this class, everything that wasn't worth it, we cleaned out.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that's left, the mock interview that everyone hates and it's only worth a point and why should I do it? One of the best things you can do, because you're going to get some really super critical feedback from this
Helpful feedback.
Super critical. But that's what you want, because, you're like, oh, well, at the end of the interview, I'll just ask, how did I do? Which, when you start out, you're like, I'm sure they're going to tell me you did great. And, I'm like, oh, knocked that one out of the park. They're not going to tell you. That's like the beginning of the don't get sued training.
Yes.
Is you cannot, they can be the worst candidate in the world, and you just smile and shake their hand and say, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
That was an interview.
I was literally just an hour ago, I was telling the story of when I stopped randomly at a garage sale in Mattoon a couple years ago, and this guy comes running out from his house. You work at Lakeland? And I was like, yeah, because you never quite know how things are going to go. And he said, I was an IT student. And he said, several years ago, and I did a mock interview with you. And it was because of that mock interview that I did so well in my actual interview. And I've been at this job ever since, and I love it. It was the job I wanted. And I was like, Oh,
There you go.
so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Don't often get feedback like
Right.
that, but
And
he
that's
didn't
the-
really want to do it,
Right.
And he
But
did
that's
it.
the one area where you're not going to get feedback because the people who know you can't give you proper feedback.
Right.
And the people who don't know you can't legally give you proper feedback. So Tina's the one kind of stand-in for that bridges that gap, and she doesn't know you. She's going to treat you just like anybody else on an interview, but is going to turn around and give you that, okay, you clicked the pen the entire time, and you didn't sit up straight, and you said, like 4,000 times. So it's things you don't notice.
Right.
Are one thing. And then I had an interview, my first interview here, I thought was amazing. And after I got hired, one of the other faculty members said, we hired you in spite of that interview, not because of that interview. I was trying to be relaxed, so
Oh, gravy.
because I was super nervous and I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I kind of like sat on my hands. And I was just trying to play it cool. And they were like, you didn't care about this job, and we weren't going to hire you, but there was like a 4-3 vote to hire you. Okay. I was like, so and the mock interview, even though it's fake, is at the same level of anxiety for almost everybody.
I've had people hyperventilate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
So you say, well, it's fake. It actually is more real than you would think.
Yep.
And again, this isn't about the mock interview.
No, but it's worth it.
I'm really promoting the mock interview. And, you need to schedule it early, and you can't like, hey, can I do a mock interview later today? It's got to be, I don't know, a week out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't wait until the last second. And
you can schedule those directly in Navigate.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Good to know. Navigate's useful.
It is, actually. You can schedule meetings.
Navigate was just coming in when I was going out, and
Right.
so I was able to avoid it almost entirely.
It is actually very useful. You can schedule appointments with Stephanie and me.
Oh.
And, yeah, you can
I
schedule
should
for
do
a
that.
variety of things. You should.
Schedule a
Understand
meeting
how
with
it
you.
works.
Hey, can you record a video?
Or you could just walk into my office, which is
Yeah, usually what
typically
I do.
what happens.
Yep.
So,
Hey, we probably should
LinkedIn.
talk about LinkedIn now.
hey, let's talk about LinkedIn.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is done for a reason. And I do recommend that when applying for a position that you put your LinkedIn account right up there in your header, because they're going to look you up online. Let's send them to your professional information
So
first.
name, address, contact information, LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah. And
And
that's
then-
it's in the starter document.
It
anyway.
is, absolutely.
And don't leave LinkedIn link here.
Right.
Because people have done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I'm seeing on this screen right here, you have 2 chances to earn a complete.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's because that was abused in the past.
So many times.
I will only grade it twice, which actually is fine, and we haven't had any. Usually, if back in the day, people would go, hey, I put a couple things in. Can you grade it and see if those 2 things are good? Well, you have 20 things to put in.
Right.
I'm not going to, like every day, I'm not going to grade it kind of thing. I'm assuming that was what was on your mind. So do your absolute best. This is a checklist. You just do the things. And if you've completed the things, and the thing people, well, I'll just try it and then I'll turn it in. No, if you don't know, what
Ask.
are 12 relevant skills? And where is the skills and expertise section? They do change LinkedIn, and we've had a couple times where things didn't match up, and that's email Tina or call Tina and say, hey, I just want to make sure, is this the section that those 12 skills are supposed to go in? And she will say yes or no or whatever. So answering questions, good. Multiple submissions, bad.
Right.
And I don't think anybody who actually tried
Right.
had any issues. You're going to get almost everything is good. She's going to kick it back and say this one little thing, fix this, and then, yeah.
Yes. But if you actually just follow the checklist
Yeah.
and ask a question, if you have an actual question, then you'll get it done on the first try and it'll be fine.
What % do you think get it done on the first try?
Since we implemented this process,
Yes.
way more, like a high percentage, 80%,
I was going to say
85%.
75, 80%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
And it really is.
And the things that don't are, oh, you put these in the wrong section, or you forgot. Like, if you look at the list, you didn't do this. Did
Right.
you look at the list? Oh,
One
well,
of the-
I forgot to do that.
So you'll notice that this is called the assignment and grade sheet because those are literally the same thing. The very same
So you use
checklist.
this
It's
checklist?
it's the exact same checklist. This is literally the grading sheet. So,
she did.
yeah, one of the things that is most routinely done incorrectly is right here where it says 12 relevant skills, and we'll look at my profile here in a minute, but it literally will show you how many skills are in that section. So it'll list 3 or 4, and then it'll say, see all X number of skills, however many skills the student or person has in there.
Well, I have 10. That should be enough.
Right. Like it'll literally say, see all 10 skills. And I'm like, okay, that's not 12.
But 10's enough.
No.
We laugh, but we have both had that argument.
So many times.
It says 12. Just put 12. But 10 should be enough. Just put 12. It's fine. Well, is she going to grade my skills? Tina doesn't care. As long as they seem logical,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah. You get to determine what those skills are, and they should be relevant. And
It does say 12 relevant
yeah.
skills. Yes.
So the ability to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich
not a relevant skill.
would not be a relevant skill, and she would knock
Not
that.
count that.
But yeah.
And again, because that is because this is designed to be useful in your career. We want people to see this and see you as a professional. And so that's the whole point, which is, it's why you're here. So, okay.
Can we start? Yeah. Let's start this over again. There.
First thing, professional profile picture.
Can you do pictures in your office?
We can help people get that done. Yes.
Signatures. That's what you do.
We can do signatures for sure. Yes.
All right.
But we can help people get their professional profile picture taken care of. We do.
Can I just take any?
You can. Kind of. So if you have a nice picture of yourself, then that's fine.
Okay.
Don't use a picture of like you with part of my shoulder. Like if we got a picture taken together, it shouldn't be you and part of my face or my body cut off in there. So just you
Okay.
is fine. Just again, when a business person, hiring manager sees it online, do you appear like a professional that they would want representing their company?
So no sweatshirt,
Preferably not. Preferably not.
unless you were going for a job where that would be appropriate.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But like just a simple collared shirt would be great.
But
A polo.
in some ways, it also depends on where do you want to work. If
mean-
you're going to work in an environment that they wear suits, which does that exist anymore? But you would want to be
Right.
somewhere in the ballpark there.
Yes.
So if there was no dress code at all, yeah, I'd still probably do a collared shirt.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah. That would be preferable.
Okay.
So, professional profile picture. So, professional just means that you look like a professional, not that it has to be professionally taken. You have to complete the entire LinkedIn profile, the background, employment, education, etc. So, the whole thing.
Do we have in the classroom? We had a sheet that walked you through parts of that.
That is all in the Canvas resource room.
As a PDF of that. Okay.
Yep.
So go there. Look
Yep.
at that.
Absolutely. Employment experiences are to include relevant, well-written bullet points.
Wait, bullet points is underlined.
It is.
Because I know Tina's had arguments with people who didn't put bullet points. Why should I have bullet points?
That is the other thing. The relevant skills, number of relevant skills, and whether or not there are bullet points in the experience section are the two reasons that I am most likely to send somebody's stuff back. Those are the two things that people don't do.
What's the advantage of bullet points?
Well, for the same reason that we use them on a resume, they demonstrate the skill better than just listing random things. The other thing is,
I really wanted to put in a gigantic paragraph.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Also, if you worked at Walmart while you were at school, the bullet points, just like we talk about on the resume, that's a whole different ball of wax.
Yep.
But the bullet points should be relevant to the work that you're going into. Don't tell me on LinkedIn under Walmart that you stocked shelves or used a cash register. Like, it's not relevant. So focus on the transferable parts of that job. So
if I worked at Walmart, what things would customer service interactions?
yeah, communicated effectively with a large demographic of customers.
That sounded good. I could talk to people. That's what. And same thing. We said the same thing.
Yes. Mine was better.
I would agree.
Yeah.
In this case. Not always.
But just like,
But in this case.
and the reason that is relevant as an IT professional, one, you're going to be working with many different people just within IT.
Yes.
But then also, if you have to interact with end users, your demographic just got a whole lot larger.
And we, as a group, are not known for our stellar interpersonal communication skills. I will tell you that.
There's some stereotypes out there about that.
Well, and there's some reasons, because half of the people who work in IT just don't want to deal with people. But, you have to. So you have to be able to turn it on. You can turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah. You just have to be able to turn it on.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I was a psychology major because I didn't want to do math. I did not know that as a psychology major, you do double the math of most college majors. Like, I had to take stats and research methods and college algebra. And like, I didn't just get to take college math. I had to take college algebra. Then I had to take stats. And then I had to take research methods. And then I had to take, it's kind of the same thing.
Is it?
You got to be able to talk to people.
Good.
People go into IT because they don't want to talk to people.
Okay. So you lost me there as to why we wandered off.
I got you back.
Down that aisle. Okay.
Look at me. See, I brought it all back.
Yes.
Yeah,
we have actually had people ask, could we have a class on basically interpersonal skills?
I think that'd be a great thing.
I ignored them and walked away.
Of course you did.
Which is why we don't have it. Yeah. I just, la, 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 la. And I went my way.
You shouldn't be the one to teach it. Sorry. That's funny.
Oh, well.
Okay, anyway, bullet points. Include bullet points. The other thing is, a lot of them will just come straight from your resume, so copy and paste them over.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Okay. Education must include Lakeland College and
3 words?
Spelled correctly.
3 words. Not 4.
And linked to the correct Lakeland College.
Okay, and we had that last year, right? Somebody linked to the one in Florida, I think
so.
There's one in Florida and there's one in Ohio.
And
right?
one in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And one in Canada.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The one in somebody quite a while ago did in Canada. I was trying to figure out what
they called you, right?
Oh, yeah. They were asking where was I in this building, and I'm like, we don't have that building. And then I finally tracked them down. They thought they were calling the Canadian one, and they were calling here. That was not a resume though.
But just last year, the person working out front for us at the big desk came to me and was like, I have some people out here who say they're here for a tour, and I can't find them on anybody's calendar, and I don't know the names that they're giving me. So I went out there and did some questioning and a very quick Google search. They meant to be here, but the student had signed up for a tour in Canada.
Okay.
His dad.
So there are multiple Lakeland colleges, and it's not Lakeland Community College.
Nope.
And it's not Lakeland, one word.
Correct.
Lakeland College, 3 words.
Notice how right here,
Yep.
Lakeland College. Yeah. Education.
And I would say 10% of our resumes have that incorrect.
Yes. Oh, at minimum. Yes.
Well, and I preach on it, and then I still get 10% of them wrong.
And I put it on all of our starter documents correctly, and then I will get people who change it and then submit it to me for a grade. Like, I don't. Okay. Educational degree and program of study. So this actually takes you to Lakeland's page for academic programs. Your degree is the associate in whatever, or the certificate
Well,
in.
yeah, it should be associate in applied science for
For-
anybody taking this class.
Right.
Would be
True.
would be
Yes.
an AAS.
Yes.
And then IT dash whatever it is.
Yep. So the degree is associate in applied science. Notice how that's spelled.
In IT.
Associate in applied science, and then
What?
it's an associate, not
Oh.
associates.
I'm sorry. You just said shit. I
Nope, not what I
didn't
said.
know you were angry, but
But
okay.
then there's like a colon after the end, and
Yeah.
then IT hyphen.
But
network
and we
administration.
get all kinds of spelling and wording of that, and people think they have an AA or an AS, and those are degrees. They're just not the associate in applied science, and then IT dash whatever your major is.
And I
and,
would-
and it's embarrassing. Like if I'm looking at your resume. And I know you graduated with this degree, but you don't know you graduated with this degree, or you're going to graduate with this degree. Or that you've misspelled the school. We had one of the applicants did not spell the school name for the job we're going to interview for. Did not spell the school name right. And, right off the bat, you're like,
Right, exactly.
if you don't have enough attention to detail to understand that should be obvious. None of these are, they are strikes. For me, they are. They're like, you didn't pay attention enough to do this.
Yes.
And so now you have to be stellar to overcome that. If everything is correct, it's not really you don't get a sticker for that, but that's the minimum that you should have. You should know what school you went to, what degree that you're graduating
Yeah.
with or you have graduated with.
And the most common mistake that I see when it comes to degree and program of study is that people will put associate in network administration,
Yeah.
associate in business, associate in, and it's like, no. The degree is associate in applied science. Your major or your program of study is IT, network administration.
Which can be confusing, but this is one of those 10:30 at night when I have to get this submitted by midnight.
Right.
I'm not going to take the time to check it. Now's the time to do. We're putting that up
Yes.
front, and we're going to do it, and then you just copy from this,
Yes.
and it's right,
Yes.
or from your resume, which should
also be right.
should also be correct on the resume.
Yes. And ask other people to help. And right before I came over here to do this, my oldest called me. He wants to apply for a position. And he said, I worked 17 hours yesterday and I keep looking at this and it's not making sense in my brain.
Yeah.
Will you please look at it?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So ask other people to help you with it. Your materials, with your LinkedIn, have other people look at it so that they can pick up on things too.
And that's what the whole point of this is.
Yes. Okay, 12 relevant skills, and we'll look at that here in a second. At least 4 artifacts, skill artifacts. Artifacts can be included in one or multiple sections, which we'll see here in a minute. And artifacts are any items that demonstrate a skill, and they must be related to the work you're applying for.
Okay, this is the thing I get asked more questions about than any other thing. What is an artifact? So you got 2 approaches, and I don't know that I've ever told Tina this, so I'm actually going to be confessing in front of, on
a little nervous.
on record here. Tina doesn't know, and part of it, Tina doesn't care what those artifacts are.
Right.
They need to be things that you have skills, but being able to build an Excel spreadsheet. So can I put an Excel spreadsheet from PSA class in there? You can. Can I do a Word document and a PowerPoint? Yeah, that would give 3. Are those the most useful things you could do? Probably not. Unless you needed to demonstrate that you could do that. You said you have an MOS, Microsoft Office Specialist certification in Excel. Putting in one of your Excel spreadsheets that has some functions in it or something and showing the functions might be something that you'd want to do. Programmers should have some code in there. That'd be great. Flowcharts would work too. Net admins could use a security project, the project from Net Essentials. Any of those projects, you want to neuter out any information. You don't have to include the entire thing, too. It could be the summary page or other things like that. You want to be, when I say I have the skill to do this, I have a skill to do advanced functions in Excel, then the artifact follows that up. Oh, yep, there we go. So there probably should be some relationship between the skills and the artifacts. But some people will start with, these are the skills that I need to come up with artifacts for. And other people will start with, these are the artifacts
that I have available.
What are the best ones to do for that? And it could be anything you did in class, anything you did outside of class. Could they be photos of projects that I've done?
Depending on
if I was,
what it
I
was.
Constructed a thing like
Yes.
innovation.
Yes.
Could it be a video?
Yes.
Okay. So you could do a little tour of whatever it was. It could be, it's just a demonstration for someone to say, oh, yeah, they said they could do it, and clearly they can, because they just proved that. And that used to be like 10 artifacts at one point, or 8.
I think it was 8 for this class when we were doing it in paper form.
Yeah. So it's way better now. So
I mean, you can have 8.
right, and sometimes you'll that's the question. Hey, I have 2 artifacts to do for this, and 2 for this, and 2 for that. Is that okay? Absolutely. You have to have at least 4.
Yes.
But think of the homework that you've done. Think of the projects you've worked on. It actually doesn't have to have anything to do with school.
Things that you've done in your internship.
On my own time,
Yes.
I did a thing. The only thing you have to worry about is I did a thing on my internship that has
proprietary information.
Yeah, you got people's names or anything else like that. The security audit would have some details about, and you have to redact that, or just don't include those pages. So that's really the only thing you have to be careful about.
Right.
But having 4 artifacts is not, you should be able to, and you say, well, I need this to prove that I can do something in Excel. Do something in Excel. I mean, it doesn't have to be something from the past. You could build something specifically for this that actually has the things, or take something you didn't modify it.
Right. Maybe it's your home budget, and you just modify numbers or modify something about it to use that.
Put in some fake stuff.
Right.
Yeah. All of that is good.
Yes.
I just keep checking to make sure we're still recording,
That's good.
because that would be terrible if we weren't.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Certification. Okay, so the other thing about artifacts is certificates don't count as artifacts. So if you have an MOS and you want to include like the certificate that they give you, that would be a certificate, but that does not count as an artifact. Like, you need to actually provide something that demonstrates the skills that you have because you went through that certification process.
But one last thing, and this is a question I get, is Tina going to screen this? Will she kick it back? As long as it's reasonable and it has something to do with the skills.
Right.
And I might say, I would have said in the past, I think there's a better example of that. You could create something from scratch maybe that would be a better example. But it'll fill, yes, this would count as one of your 4. Are you sure you want to use that? But
right.
It would count.
And my thing is, we're doing this to be helpful to you in your career. So, I'm going to trust that you're going to put things in there that actually matter. And if they don't, then that's on you and not on me.
Oh, simple, Tina. When the deadlines are
I get it.
are coming.
I get it. But at the same time, it's not on me if your LinkedIn portfolio isn't as helpful as it should be.
And this is a document that's going to change over time, too.
Hopefully.
So you're going to take some of your other stuff out.
Yes.
And do some new things.
So if you don't have any certifications or certificates or awards, just tell me that when you submit your link to your
So Dean's
profile.
List, President's List, what are the other...
well, your MOS and your...
Right, I'm thinking other things. So national...
Oh, NSLS.
Yes, student leadership.
Something.
Is that what Ashley DS stands for?
One of them does.
Student
I
leadership
think.
something?
National Student Leadership.
Something.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
Sorry.
all of those.
Yes.
Are they huge? No. But
They show
you know.
that you're involved,
Right.
that you do things, that you
And
are meeting people.
certifications
that
are
you-
important. If you
Yes.
have any industry,
Yes.
I have an industry cert for food preparation from work.
No, don't care. I mean, unless you're.
But I mean, if I'm going for a job in that area,
Yes, then
yeah.
that matters.
Okay, if it applies.
If it
Okay.
applies,
All
yeah.
right.
Yep.
Project management from work.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So it didn't have to be here. You might want to check to make sure work is okay with you posting that. They should be. Like if I went through a seminar and was certified doing something, you would think it would be. It
yeah,
would be okay.
that would be because typically you're being certified through a third party, not through that place of employment.
That's true.
So you would list it from that third party.
Okay.
Yep. Email me your address. Here's a link to my email address. Allow at least 2 business days for the review. Things happen. I'm not always here. And don't put it off until the last minute. That's. Yep. Just don't do that. It's happened.
Oh,
Don't be the person who does it.
it happens a lot. We have had,
Unfortunately.
I think last year, each semester we had one person by midterm who was done. So out of 18 people or something in the class, it's easy to do. You know, you sit down in a couple days, you can get it done, and then you turn it in and you're greenlit and everything's good.
Yep.
But it's most people. This is not like, oh, it's Friday night, I'm gonna put together my LinkedIn portfolio. It's usually kind of down the list of things you want to do, but again, don't wait till the last.
But again, none of this is rocket science. None of this is rocket science. This is not
Correct.
difficult.
Correct.
It just takes a little time.
Yep.
So
And if you're really confused, Google it.
Yes.
How do you? There are videos that walk you through all the different pieces. I mean, and this check sheet could not be easier, really.
it really, yes,
Like read, yes or no. The following are
will result in an incomplete or unsatisfactory.
profile picture not present. Correct. Oh wait, this is the bad list.
Yeah, these are the things you want to make. These are the things.
Yeah.
So because some of the things are routinely not
Yep.
done correctly,
And some
I've
of them,
given
like
you
the
a
wrong
list.
Lakeland College is linked. That's funny. And you would think, why would they put that? But like, do not iron clothing while it is on tag is because someone ironed their clothing while it was on.
Do
and
not
then-
use the hairdryer while in the bathtub.
Yeah, and tried to sue. So
Yep.
we're just like, these are things that are there.
Don't submit it after the deadline. I literally put that on there.
It's so sad that you had to do that.
Not all required elements are included. These
Yep.
are things that need to be said, apparently.
Okay, so well, I
Bullet
do want-
points, rules for the bullet points guideline. That there's a handout here, right here in what is this? Canvas. I want to say Canva all the time, and it's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
It's
not
Canvas.
Canvas, yes.
It's there. There. I
So the
literally
rules for bullet
teach
points
you
just
how to
show-
write
okay,
bullet points.
okay.
So
Artifacts aren't relevant, but the artifacts cannot be accessed easily by employer. I had this last year. Somebody, and I've had it personally, people send me a Google link to their Google Drive, but I have to be logged in as them to have access to it. So it looks good, but unless you click on it and find out you don't have permission to it, you can't. So you need to have somebody else test that or put it in a public place or just upload the asset right to LinkedIn.
yes,
Can you have links to other things? Yes.
Yes.
Programming, a lot of times I've got an itch.io page that has all my stuff on it, and I want to link to that, which would be public and you wouldn't have to have access. But if you put anything on Dropbox or Google Drive, it has to be in a folder that has public access. Otherwise, it'll be a dead link. And she's going to click through them, and it'll be a dead link. And
Yes.
then you get listed down here.
right. Yes. Also, like
don't
if,
do that.
If you include code and it has multiple pages of code, that's one artifact, not one artifact per page of code.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
Yep.
All those things.
All
you would
those
think,
things.
Why did you have to clarify that?
here we are.
Yep. Because
So-
we've had multiple people do that.
Yes. So we do have a Lakeland College Career Services LinkedIn account that you can follow and connect with.
Really?
We do.
Does it have examples that I could Could I go here and look at things and find out and mimic those things?
Not on this one. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Now, what oftentimes happens is people look at mine.
Can I just browse and look for you
You can.
and view? I could see this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what I'm asking, when in doubt, could I start with your page and work backwards from there?
You can. I don't keep mine as updated sometimes.
All right.
But
Do you have skills and artifacts?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And really, it's where do I put the skills? Where do I put the artifacts?
Yeah.
And you're going to tell us that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So real quick, pictures, you'll notice they are simple, straightforward. It's just me. This information should be personalized. You can include your pronouns. I really like this for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is if you are applying somewhere and you don't know how to address your materials, see if you can find them on LinkedIn, and it might tell you how to address the materials. A lot of people have their pronouns now on LinkedIn.
But Mr. or Ms., no Mrs.
Correct.
Okay.
No misses or no miss. And if it is somebody who uses they, them pronouns, then it's MX.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Did not know that.
Yep. Learn new things all the time.
Yep.
So
Could I do to whom it may?
do not, under
apply.
any circumstances.
Okay. We just got
That was
one.
clear.
We just got one of those.
I'm sure you did.
Yep.
Yes. About section.
But it's hard. I mean, you have to have researched and know, and sometimes you don't know. So, dear hiring committee.
Yeah, hiring committee, hiring
works?
So if they
Okay.
have an
All right.
HR department, it
So
might
their
be
title
director
works.
of HR.
I don't have
Yes.
to know who it is.
Correct.
Just the title.
But if
Okay.
you can find out who it is, that's best.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So activity, if you create posts, I shared a post, a couple of them here. Okay, so work experience. Been here a long time. Not as long as you.
Not
Here's
alone.
here's an artifact. This is one of the ways that you can include your artifacts.
The new kid.
Yeah. New kid with 26 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can include artifacts underneath a position. So this is the starter document that I created.
Okay.
Here's the bullet points.
Oh, those are short. Short is good, right?
I mean, they're concise. I wouldn't say short, but they are concise.
Potato.
Because you want to make sure that you provide enough detail.
Right. I'm just saying they're not
They're-
full sentences, and they're not paragraphs. They're
Correct.
not. They're not. Most of them are one line or slightly over one line.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way I recommend, and this is in the bullet points, rules for bullet points, when you proofread your bullet points, you should be able to say I at the beginning and it becomes a complete sentence.
Okay. Good.
So, yeah, you want full information. So you'll notice that I've just used an asterisk in LinkedIn because you can't put the actual bullet point like you can in Word. So if you're wondering about that, I just use an asterisk.
That is hard to say.
It's a hard.
Yes.
It's a hard
Yeah.
one. To mimic the same thing as using a bullet point in Word. The idea is that it makes it easy for the reader to move down the page and see each one individually so that it doesn't look like a paragraph.
More important ones at the top, less important ones at the bottom. I mean, that should be on your resume as well.
Right, yes. So now at Lakeland, I have served in more than one position, and so I have all of those on there, and they all show up underneath Lakeland. And then I have one artifact that I have included in here. And then it just goes back through my work experience, my education. Notice the correct Lakeland College is connected here, so make sure
Good job.
Make sure you do that.
Good job. Stunning how you found that.
Additional licenses and certifications. If you have volunteer work, then that is good, and you should at least consider including it, because oftentimes you can use skills and gain skills in a volunteer position that you don't necessarily use in your work. So, and for IT, maybe you developed a website for an organization, and maybe you there's all kinds of things that you could have done that will still demonstrate your ability to do the work you're applying for.
And I would say that one other thing, you may have somebody who works there who's on the hiring team
Yes.
may be involved in, oh, I saw you were a board member with this. Oh, my cousin were. I mean, I knew
Happens all
that.
the time.
I knew that.
Yes.
That's why I put it on there. But I want that to pop up. And doing anything that's volunteer is usually good. You're never going to get like, oh, you volunteered at the homeless shelter. Shame on you. I mean, nobody's ever going to say that.
Right.
So, like, all that's good.
Right.
But if you don't have that, like, I don't know that I had any volunteer work. It's not like, oh, well,
Right.
these people didn't volunteer.
Right.
So, if you've got it,
Yes.
great. If not, oh,
Hey,
skills.
look, skills. Skills section.
Wait, is this?
Look how many I have.
Holy cow! I didn't know you were that skilled.
I am very skilled.
Off camera, we're going to have some words about that, but you don't need to be involved in that.
But I'll
Can you
show you.
us?
But
Can
look,
you show us?
But look right here where
Yes.
it says show all 50 skills. Notice that if it says show all 10 skills, I don't have to look at the skills to know that you don't have enough. That you haven't
So it's
met that
always only
requirement.
going to show you a couple.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
And then here's
Now, do I have to have endorsements?
no, you do not.
Okay, so that is someone has looked at your page and said, yes, you do indeed have that skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what that is. But and it's really easy. And for all of these sections, you just click on the little pencil and then edit it, and it gives you suggestions, and you just click on things and they go in there. So not hard.
Okay, so for IT though, what kind of things like able to develop websites is a skill, but I could do websites using HTML and CSS. I could do multiple versions of HTML. I could do it I could write code in 4 different languages. Would that be can write code in this language, write code in this language, write code in that language? Do I have to back it up at all? I mean, we need 12 of these, right?
Right.
Okay.
Do you have to back them up? No.
Can I put something in the skills section that backs it up? Can I put an artifact in the skills section?
Not in the skills section.
Well, that sucks.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Let's see.
Yeah, why not?
Skill. Arguing with Scott. It would be capitalized, but
Well, but
it is-
see,
it is.
I
See?
just
See?
it
There we
gives
go.
you
Look at that.
so you can add multiple.
And they had CSSs in there, so that's cool. Okay. So you would just put HTML.
Okay.
I mean, does that work?
Show us where you used this skill. Oh, I can see this is fairly new.
Okay.
I can
75% of hires value context. Good.
yeah.
And this would be because you would have had in your experience, would you have had in your experience that you were a student? Oh, no, it would be education.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be Lakeland College would be where you got that.
But look, if you do have volunteering, it might be that you used it during one of your volunteer experiences.
And those are checkboxes, so you can
Yep.
do multiples.
Yep. That's a new thing too. They'll send you updates.
But you cannot attach anything.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. And I mean, that would be something that I would say to LinkedIn. Hey, it
Right.
would be really nice if you could back that up right there, rather than having it down below. But,
Yes.
oh well.
But you can create. Whoops.
Can't hover at the bottom.
Wasn't trying to. You can create additional profile sections, so you could have one that's just for your artifacts if that's what you want to do.
Oh. Okay.
Which is oftentimes what
okay. Wait.
students will do.
Right. So where are your artifacts?
Well, I just showed you the one up in my work experience.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay. So you're suggesting add a profile.
You can absolutely do that.
What would we add?
Oftentimes people do a featured or projects.
Okay. Patents.
Publications.
Languages, if you speak multiple languages, that
yep.
would be good.
Yep.
Yeah, it would probably be projects.
Yep.
And then all 4 of your artifacts would go in that
Just live
section.
together. Yep.
See, that right there is one thing that gets people stuck. Like, I don't know where to put the artifacts. Because they really don't go with education. They really need to go with skills, but I can't put them in skills.
Right. But you can just add a section.
Okay.
Yep.
See, we just got over the biggest hurdle in the entire project.
You do not need to have recommendations for this assignment, but as you move through your career, it's nice if people will give you recommendations. You can also provide others with recommendations. Goodness gracious. Honors and awards.
Words are hard.
Or any organizations that you belong to. So, yeah, I do have causes on there too.
Children.
Okay. Comes with the sports
Okay.
and education.
See, I would not have children on there. It would be lack of children.
That's what you're
That's
most
not-
interested
yes.
in. I'm sure your children.
I
would
mean,
be
my own
so
children.
glad
I meant
to
in
hear
general.
that.
I didn't mean my own. I meant other people's children. Yeah. I love my own children. Not so much anybody who's not related to me. It's the IT thing. Like, I don't want to talk to you.
I get it. I get it. If only.
Yeah.
You just. Okay.
And I just want to say, for all those of you watching, this is as close. This is way closer than I want to sit to anybody in my normal life. I've been uncomfortable this entire time, and she's my sister, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah. Sheesh.
I love it. Making you uncomfortable is just like a life goal.
It's working.
Oh, right here. This is a thing that you can and should do. So you can customize your profile URL.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
You just literally click on that.
But I mean, what? Does it not give you that by default? What?
It
or is
gives you a really
it's a
long
random, It's a
one.
random string.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
So you can edit your custom URL.
Okay.
So I do recommend that.
LinkedIn.com/IN/best employee in the world. It's probably taken.
Number one IT guy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a much shorter, much simpler thing that you can put on your resume. So, okay. I think we hit all the sections. So please do it. I mean, it's for your own good.
Yeah.
It's going to be useful to you in your job search and in your career. It is an opportunity to send employers to your professional social media so that if they then go look somewhere else, they've already seen this, which is great. Maybe they won't go look anywhere else after they've seen this. Maybe they will, but at least this is what they see first. So let's send them where we want them to go. The checklist and the assignment and the grade sheet are the exact same thing. That's why they're both listed on it.
So print it and actually put checks in the boxes as they're complete.
Yes.
When you get to the bottom, and ask if you don't know.
Yes.
And you're hung up on. I mean, after this video, hopefully you don't have any questions.
Hopefully.
And if you didn't watch this video, me saying that means nothing because you wouldn't have watched this anyway. So never mind.
So if you've made it this far,
Yeah,
as they say in the YouTube videos.
We've answered all of your questions. So just get to it.
Yes. So use the checklist. If you follow the checklist, ask questions if you have them, you'll be fine. It's not rocket science, but it is important, and it can make a difference in your career trajectory. So you might as well do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had anybody who's done it who said it was a waste of time.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And it gets you a point. So
Right.
it's good.
Yeah.
Are we done?
I think so.
Okay. See ya.
See ya. Thank you.